Morosi with you. The crowd is forming here. The excitement is building. Game 5 winner moves on to the ALCS. Loser goes home. I feel bad for the Tigers. It's going to be a long trip. We're going to talk a lot about what to expect, but great to have you guys here. This is going to be an unreal night, and I may come to you, John, for some counseling throughout the game, as I did last weekend.
I'll be there. You know where to find me in the press box. Listen, everybody. Bob is so invested in this. I got to tell you, during the game, sitting there with Bob going through scenarios, bullpen decisions, you have got a host who cares deeply about everything going on the field. So, Bob, it's an honor to be here.
Oh, this is a great day. This is a great day. It was raining. Now the sun is out. I think it's a sign of things to come. But looking at, let's start with the obvious, and I'll start with you, Ryan. The decision to start Kirby. I don't know that it was a surprise to anybody. It seemed like it made sense. Everybody's available. Dan's saying that Castillo can come out of the bullpen, Logan can come out of the bullpen, Miller can come out of the bullpen. So all hands on deck, but Kirby gets the start against Skubal. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they felt pretty strongly out of the gates with Kirby having that game 1 because they had room, right? It wasn't like they're coming out of the wild card series and they're pushed into figuring out at 1 or 2 guys. They had plenty of time to map this out. So he was your game 1 guy. I think the biggest difference here with game 5 is, all right, who are you comfortable with? Someone who in a starting role as opposed to coming out of the bullpen, right? So, for example, we saw, the Phillies the other day with an Aaron Nola facing that lineup one time through. Aaron Nola knew he was going to literally go 2 innings and hand it off. I think this is more of a situation where George Kirby, you roll it out. If he looks like he's in good shape, let it go. And then figure it out who is the next guy up in regards to who is going to be that best matchup to bridge that gap to get to the back end of that bullpen.
Charlie, what do you think? You like it?
I love it. Yeah, after seeing what Kirby did in the first inning in game 1, striking out the side, the place absolutely erupted, and I feel like he has the ability to really take down lineups with his stuff when he's throwing upper 90s, and it's just so fun to watch when he kind of gets in the zone. And I think if you can get Kirby some early runs, it's just going to make him that much more effective because I wouldn't be surprised to see him pitch 5 or 6 innings of shutout ball. He has the ability to go out there and strike guys out. So I would say the experience he had in game 1 is only going to aid into what he's going to do tonight.
Charlie, to your point, Kirby's first inning in game 1 was even better than Castillo's first inning in game 2. Both were scoreless. But it took Castillo, it was fascinating to me that Castillo's second time through the lineup was actually better than his first. It was more efficient. Whereas George was on point from the very beginning. And in so many of these winner-take-all games, it's all about exactly how you start. And when you think about Kirby in this ballpark, in the postseason, he has made 2 starts. He has given up runs on exactly 1 pitch. The home run pitch to Carpenter across those 2 starts. So I think in so many ways, when you're talking about a winner-take-all game, whether it's a game 7 or tonight a game 5, it matters more the runs allowed column of the starter's final line than the first, which is the innings pitched. It can become a bit of a relay race where, listen, take it as long as you can, have your runs allowed be 0, and of course what we heard Dan Wilson say a short time ago, the man who, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the man who starts game 1, if the Mariners advance in the ALCS, might not even be someone who's on the active roster right now in Brian Wu, who just moments ago was throwing a bullpen here. If that all checks out, and if Wu was ready to go for game 1, you can be even more aggressive in how you use your bullpen today.
One other thing too, just with, if you're looking at Castillo and George Kirby, the one thing I did like about Castillo in that second game, and you mentioned the walks. There was never a situation where it's like, you know what, man, I'm not being efficient here. He's pitching away from contact. There was never a give-in moment where it was like, man, okay, I have to start getting back in the strike zone. He wasn't efficient in that first inning, but he kind of stayed that way for whatever reason. Maybe he was like, you know what, there's 1 pitch to get me back in the count. It's not quite. I'm not feeling this pitch right now. But the other part of this is too, and back to the point with Aaron Nola. If George Kirby, the mindset for him, and his velocity was up in that first game, if you're going into that start, and I've been there before too, where it's like, look, you just go as hard as you can for as long as you can. Things change all of a sudden, man. You find yourself in that 3rd, 4th inning, your velocity's up, and you're just emptying the tank knowing that you got some horses behind you too. So it's really important to set that tone, I think, and get in that nice rhythm.
What do you think of that matchup right out of the gate, Kirby versus Carpenter? Because now Carpenter's being talked about like he's Barry Bonds from the 90s. I mean, okay, he took you deep, and he's a good player, but I feel like it's being a little overstated how dangerous he is, and oh my goodness, the rematch right out of the gate. I think it's going to provide electricity, but are we overselling the danger that exists there, even though he did take him deep in the last game?
It's interesting, Bob. You know how many hits Kerry Carpenter has in this series?
One.
That one.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, it was a big one, but one is one. And I think that this is more about setting the psychology of it all aside, Bob. This is about, for the Tigers, separating Carpenter's spot in the lineup from Green and Keith, giving as much of a runway or complicating Dan Wilson's decisions later on in the game, potentially getting Carpenter one more at-bat against Kirby. This is about not the first inning at-bat against Kirby. This is about, hypothetically, the fifth inning at-bat or the sixth inning at-bat. This is why Carpenter's leading off. So will it help the stage? Will the boos be a little louder? Probably. And by the way, boos in this context are a compliment. It is a compliment to Kerry Carpenter that he's getting booed, because Mariner fans remember what happened in game one in that context. So Carpenter's going to have to find a way, I think, to get his rhythm back a little bit. Maybe it helps him from a confidence perspective that's going to be against the man that he had his signature moment so far in these playoffs. But he's still looking for his second hit of the series. Game one was a long time ago.
What do you think of that? Are you anticipating the rematch, or do you think it's being oversold a bit?
I'd say it's a little oversold. I mean, it makes sense because 5 hits, 5 homers, right? I mean, that and when you look at just the history of the matchup, but you know, today's a different. Like, I almost want to take it completely different, because today is not a regular season game. It's a completely different environment, and obviously with what he did in game one, and ultimately it wasn't the worst pitch he ever threw. You got to tip your cap that Carpenter went up and got that. He was probably
I don't want to.
Sitting dead red on it, though, you know. So
out of the strike zone.
Yeah,
it was a ball.
It was a ball, right? So you can't really be that mad about it. And then sometimes, you know, Ryan, we throw pitches that we want to throw and they still hit them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just one of those really weird scenarios that unfolds that way.
You know, on that pitch too, you know, going back, and you can dissect it 1,000 times because it's easy for us to sit there in hindsight. He had punched out Riley Green, who got off to a slow start, but he started to pick it up later on. He struck him out on that breaking ball below the hands. In a situation there, I guarantee you he's second guessing, saying, man, okay, if I can feel good about getting that breaking ball, you know, below the hands on that in that situation, I would have gone there. But I look at this more of, I get it. When you're talking about at the top of the lineup, you mentioned the fact he's only had the one hit. At some point, you can see how A.J. Hinch has done this, where he's spread out those lefties. You've got a Gabe Spire. At what point you have that one chance to match up at what point in the game? If you do it in the fifth inning, it's going to come back around later on in this game, where you have to be smart with it. So I'm not so concerned about that at bat. Matter of fact, you know what? Get out of the gates right away. If you're going to face him one time, you know what? At the top of that first inning, have at it. That's that matchup when you want it. As opposed to the fifth inning when you got to make a decision to get Gabe, because you've also got some other lefties in that lineup.
Correct. And Ryan, to me, the one thing that's fundamentally different about when you use Gabe Spire in this game in comparison to the first 4 games of the series is you might have, after Gabe Spire, Gilbert, Castillo, Miller. So it's not necessarily correct. It's not necessarily the question of Spire and then your next option for the lefty lane is Ferguson. Not necessarily. You might be using, to your point, that amazing splitter of Gilbert, maybe for an inning even plus in a situation like this.
Getting back to the decision to start Kirby, Dan Wilson, speaking with the media last night, talked about that choice with Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, I think, certainly, I think in terms of the rest, Georgia a little bit more. They both threw very, very well against Detroit. George certainly threw the ball extremely well. Was kind of by design, and this is kind of the way we had hoped it would work out. And so this is the way it went.
So it lined up perfectly as he sees it. And the fact, again, that he does have all those arms available out of the bullpen makes it an easier decision no matter who it was, in my opinion, right? If you started Castillo, you're going, all right, we got Kirby coming out of the pen, we got Logan, we got Miller. So you're kind of in the same boat regardless of who you start.
Right, and you're also thinking somewhat optimistically, which you should think at this time, where if you win this game, then you have in sequence, as long as Castillo's not throwing 2 innings out of the pen today, you can stay in sequence and on order, whereas if you start Castillo, then Kirby, if you advance, has almost too much rest before he'd start his first game in the ALCS. And by the way, again, we got to go one step at a time, but what an interesting decision the Mariners are going to have if they win this game, and assuming that Wu is available, who doesn't start in the ALCS? What does that mean for your bullpen? Is Miller now a reliever? Obviously, they haven't utilized Hancock at all in this series to date, so clearly it seems to me like there is a long relief pocket where someone like a Bryce Miller would potentially have a ton of value. He was great in Game 4. And I know there's a lot of second guessing should they have stayed longer with him. I thought Miller pitched phenomenally well and showed himself to be a legit postseason pitcher based on Game 4.
And he hadn't pitched in 10 days.
He hadn't pitched in 10 days, number one. Number two, look, it has been a bumpy road. And I get it, man. He's been hurt. But however, I think more importantly for him in 2025, just mentally, just trying to get through that grind mentally from him. And so the fact that you were looking up and he was out pitching in the 5th inning was huge, especially too when you see A.J. Hinch on the other side taking Casey Myers out early and they start matching up. But one other thing too, just talking about this bullpen and who you got available today, how big was it that Logan Gilbert, he threw 85 pitches. There wasn't a whole lot of high stress in that game. The fact that he can come back, I'm not calling it a short rest, but at least be available for this game. That was huge to get he was outstanding. But the fact that you put up enough runs, there wasn't that high-stress one-run game where you had to push him to the brink there. Now all of a sudden he's available. And you make a great point too, JP. The fact that you got Gabe against lefties, left on left, but then you got Logan Gilbert, who's just been dominant against lefties, especially with that split.
One more from Dan here, just talking about who is available coming out of the bullpen for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the phrase, is all hands are on deck tomorrow. It's a Game 5. It's, obviously, everything's on the line. And so, anybody that's available will be down there and we can use.
Bob, to that point about the Mariners' bullpen depth in this situation, if this becomes a bullpen game, in my view, the advantage swings heavily towards Seattle. One of the biggest reasons why, the Tigers' best pitcher in this series, if you look at performance throughout, has been Troy Melton.
Yeah.
Troy Melton's probably not going to pitch today.
Yeah.
And you think about it, I asked, I can't remember, it may have been Gleyber Torres after the game on 2 days ago in Detroit. Troy Melton has become this emerging postseason ace for the Tigers to where he has pitched in 2 games. The Tigers have won both of them. And now he sets up, and this is a 2026 and beyond conversation, he's going to be a very important starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers going forward. I mean, your eyes lit up as I mentioned his name, Ryan. He threw phenomenally well in this series.
Because when I saw him Game 1, starting that game, I was like, oh, wow, here we go. Like, this is huge for the Mariners. He was surprisingly good.
Shut him down.
He was, and because coming off that Guardian series, he pitched. He looked like a young kid. Deer in headlights moment was too big for him at Progressive Field. And then I was like, but you're right, man. He has not got. I know A.J. Hinch likes to, sing his praises of the bullpen. You've got to give that kid so much credit. Unbelievable what he's done.
Charlie, what would you? I know it depends on where they're at in the game, and all these arms are available. At what point do you go starting pitcher versus your normal bullpen guy, right? Normally, maybe you'd go to Brash or you'd go to Bizzardo. Are you then going, well, we got Gilbert. That's a better option, or is somebody who's been doing that's been their role all season? Where's the comfort level?
Yeah, I think I have a little more comfort of a reliever coming in to clean up a mess because they've done it before. I think if a starter has a clean inning and has to come in, that's probably a better setup overall. But I think this game's just going to be really interesting in terms of how the moves are made and once pressure's on. And if Dan has to see some traffic and do I let Kirby, how long's the leash and who do I bring in? And then you look at it from we keep talking about how incredible Spire has been, but do you sit back and say, no, we want to save him for the 7th or 8th? Or is there a situation in the 4th or 5th where, no, this is where we protect the game. This is a save situation. So I think that's going to be the really tough call Dan's going to have to make, saying, do I stick with Kirby here or do I bring in my horses early in the game?
Charlie, I'm going to get out in front of what I'm sure is going to be second guessing, so maybe call us a first guess or at least a little bit of unsolicited advice. When you have as many great bullpen options for one game as Dan Wilson has with the Mariners, this is one instance where, as much as I love Kirby, if you feel like you're getting close to the end of his time, to your point, Charlie, get him out of there at a clean inning and then get Gilbert into the game to maybe start the 6th and have 2 innings for Gilbert. Think about it. Melton pitched multiple innings for the Tigers in the last game. Why not have Gilbert pitch multiple innings, especially to Ryan's point about how efficiently he performed earlier on in the series? This is the kind of a game, as much as you almost hate to say it, you should try to peel Kirby out of the game an out or two earlier than you might otherwise, because you want to give your starters that you're going to be able to go to a clean inning. There's nothing wrong if today's plan is 5 innings of Kirby, 1 of Gilbert, 1 of Castillo, 1 of Miller, and then you start, if it becomes an extra inning situation, you've got plenty of guys to go to down the line.
We talked about it at the trade deadline. The Mariners were pushing so hard for that second bullpen arm. And that was on, the weak point in that last game in Detroit was when you had to get a situation where Gabe Spire had to go face some righties. They pinch hit righties against him, had to go sit down, come back out and face Riley Green. And I think that's the difference now in Game 5 compared to Game 4, is the fact that now all of a sudden you can, I love what Charlie, you mentioned, clean up the mess with one of these bullpen pieces and then bring out one of these starters for a clean inning. And that fills that gap massively, like it did not in that last game in Game 4.
Well, and plus the idea, and I agree with that 100%, it's better to get Kirby out, presumably if he gets in some trouble,
For sure.
an out or two earlier than an out or two later.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, err on the side of caution. This is it. This is do or die. So I'd much rather be talking about, it seemed maybe a bit early impatient. I'll live with that versus, why'd you let him face him? He took him deep, or he drove into run, or whatever the damage is because he left him in an inning or a hitter or two too long.
So in theory, you're comfortable second and third, 2 outs, third inning, bring in Spire? Are we that early? Is that
Yes, I would.
That's what I think too.
100%.
I think it's
100%.
like this is the time to save the game, right? And then now it's a new game. Now we're only playing 6 more innings.
You've got plenty of guys behind him. It's to the point now where I remember I covered a Game 7. It was the last game of the year, Giants-Royals, Game 7 of that World Series. I think both starting pitchers were out by the end of the second inning. It was Jeremy Guthrie against Tim Hudson. And that's okay. That was a one-run game late on. I'm okay with that. Do not let your starting pitcher lose it. When you've got so many great options. You had a day off yesterday. You've got rested starters. Do not let your starting pitcher lose this game.
You've also got Andres Munoz, who, you know what? He can go 8-9. Get to the 8th inning. How are you going to bridge the gap to the 8th inning? He can go 2 innings. I mean, he's gone inning plus a couple times. He did that last time out as well. Get to the 8th inning. How are you going to bridge that gap? And I think that a situation where if you have a Gabe Spire coming out left on left, stop the bleeding if there is any, or get out of that mess like you talked about, and just keep bridging with some of these starting pitchers.
Yeah, this is what's fun to talk about, and how these scenarios are going to unfold in front of our eyes tonight, because it's going to be really challenging when you are in a situation and you want to maybe, because we heard it in Game 1, I thought Kirby looked good. I was comfortable with the situation and moving forward. And I think in our eyes, we thought we were comfortable too with him moving forward. But it's just, it's going to be so fun to watch these decisions unfold on both sides of the ball.
And to Ryan's point, to kind of circle back to a bit of a Phillies conversation from yesterday too, look at how early Johan Duran was in that game yesterday at Dodger Stadium. 7th inning. Get him in there. And again, he walked in a run, but that wasn't the reason why they lost the game. There were other reasons, and Kirk Green was only part of it. My heart goes out to the young man for the way the game ended yesterday, but there is no game you're waiting for. That was an elimination game for the Phillies. Their closer was in the game in the 7th inning. If Munoz is in the game in the 7th inning tonight, that's fine. They've got other options to cover behind him. Yeah,
and look, I know Dan's taken some heat for some of the moves he's made, Kirby being one of them against Carpenter for the 3rd time in Game 1. I tended to agree with that. I thought he took Castillo out at the exact right time in Game 2. I like that he took Miller out in that situation. Miller gave up a single, then he gave up a double. They were starting to get to him. Get him out early.
Right.
Which he did. It didn't work because Spire had a rare bad day.
Right.
The guy's been nailed. So I thought the move was the right move. It didn't work, not because it was the wrong decision, just Luzardo and Spire both had their off day at the same time. And
the one arm that I think we might see less of today, and maybe he's moving to the back of the line, so to speak, among the righties, is Luzardo, because he's pitched in all 4 to this point. The Tigers have had a lot of looks at him, and especially when you consider how many of the starters are available now, you have other right-handers who just candidly have now moved ahead of him in line that I think you're going to go to before you go to Luzardo again.
Right.
Yeah, George Kirby speaking last night. He was asked about pitching in Game 1 and how that changes anything, if anything at all, for him heading into Game 5.
Yeah, for one, I mean, the atmosphere is awesome. I'm hoping you know, I know that'll be the same, you know, tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, nothing changes. You know, like I said the last time, we're all, this time of the year, all pitching with your best stuff. You're all, you know, everything kind of just leads up to this moment. You got all your best stuff going out there and attacking. And I think everyone's going to do that. And, you know, just try and put up as many zeros as possible. And, but yeah, we just play our game and keep doing that. And, you know, I think we should be in a good spot.
So how much would you, if you're out there, you started game 1, you're coming back game 5, how much are you altering your approach, your sequencing at all based on the fact, all right, these guys just saw me, Carpenter saw this pitch, I'm going to go this way now?
Well, first of all, it sounds like George Kirby's getting ready for a spring training game.
Yeah.
Right.
But look, I think a little bit, right? The key for him, and going back to when he first came back off the IL, came back from the shoulder injury, arm slot was a little bit different, didn't have the split. He just kind of put the split in his back pocket. That was his big weapon against lefties. So he relied so heavily on those 2 breaking balls to get underneath the hands. And that's a pitch too. You talked to Pete Woodworth about this. That's a pitch where he sometimes second guesses it, gets around that ball a little bit, and he can turn into a little bit of cement mixer. However, I think today, with all these lefties in the lineup, you alter a little bit from, you do know about Kerry Carpenter, what he was able to do. You get that little bit of a sense, it's like, all right, can I execute that breaking ball just a little bit more, man? When he can go up and into lefties with that little sink that runs back out over the plate, money. But at the same time, man, you just faced his team a couple days ago. You got beat on a fastball at the top of the strike zone, out of the strike zone. Can I somehow, 15, 20 minutes before the game, get a really good feel, whatever that little mechanical cue is, to get on top of that breaking ball? Because that is going to have to be a weapon at some point when you're facing the Carpenter. Even Riley Green, I know he struggled, but he's starting to figure it out. Or some of the Colt Keith or McKinstry, some of these lefties. Yeah, get that breaking ball. Can I get it below the strike zone?
The thing I love, by the way, and Ryan, you picked up on this, just his tone of voice in answering that question. Remember who George Kirby is, okay? He's from Rye, New York. He has grown up watching a lot of East Coast postseason baseball. All of this is not a surprise to him. And he sounds like someone, and I just think about the years I've covered Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. These are the alphas who are not going to change their game plan for anyone. George Kirby probably thinks if he's facing 9 Aaron Judges, he's just going to pitch his game the way he wants to. And that's exactly what you want to hear from your ace. And speaking of which, one of my favorite moments, and it happened in game 1 of this series, it happened in game 3 when we were here 3 years ago, is when this crowd, which is one of the best I've seen anywhere in baseball, one of the best I've ever seen, this crowd, when Cal Raleigh and George Kirby walked out to the bullpen to start getting loose, thunderous ovation from the fans who were just watching their players walk to the bullpen to get ready. Standing ovations for warm-ups, that is the special realm, and that's the way this crowd is here in Seattle.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. John, you're leaving us?
Yeah, apparently, yes. I think the people have heard enough from me for one day. We'll hopefully we'll be seeing you next week, same time, same place.
All right, I'll be looking to you for counseling.
I'll be there.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
Jon Morosi, everybody.
Thanks,
We're going to continue live from Victory Hall. It is the Mariners Pennant Push, brought to you by Cheetos, right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
It all comes down to one win-or-go-home showdown at T-Mobile Park tonight.
This team is fired up. The fans here at T-Mobile Park are fired up.
Everything's in front of us, and they do fight back, and they do bounce back.
Done it all year. I don't see why anything's going to change.
Got a lot of resiliency in this club.
We believe in each other, and we're ready to fight.
It's Trident's up.
There it is. Strike rate goal. He did it.
First pitch at 5:08, and there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs, Seattle Sports.
Well, look, the sun came out. It's another day for writing for you writers out there. I know you take advantage of it like I do, and every writer's got their own story. And some of them, unfortunately, take an unexpected turn. It results in an accident. But if you find yourself in that situation, you're looking for help, you're looking for direction, you're looking for answers, you don't have to face it alone. With Law Tigers, they are going to make sure you get what you deserve. In Washington, every motorcycle ride writes its own chapter, and sometimes it's not pleasant. But again, They're there to guide you. They have the experience, 25 years, a quarter century in this riding community, and they are the ones who actually live it. They are riders. They know the road, and they know the risks. So if you find yourself in an accident, you've been hurt in a motorcycle accident, you're looking for that guidance, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. They are always there by your side. They're going to help you get your gear and your bike repaired or replaced because they know what those things mean to you. So whether you're carving through the Cascade Loop, you're looking at the scenic routes around Mount St. Helens, Law Tigers are the motorcycle lawyers for Washington. So give them a call if you are in that position. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, or check them out online at lawtigers.com. The Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers, Cook Law Office, PLLC, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
Rain is coming. Is your roof ready? The rainy season is approaching fast, Seattle, and 3 Tree Roofing has your roof replacement covered. Get $500 off by scheduling your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com. Their professional installers guarantee a seamless replacement this rainy season. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
You gave years, maybe decades, to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Baseball's postseason is here.
Swag out of this, and he struck him out. More fans are on their feet. Listen to this.
Seattle Sports Playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Back to Mariners Pennant Push, presented by Cheetos.
We are live at Victory Hall. Bob Stelton, Ryan Rowland-Smith, and Charlie Furbush getting you prepped, getting you ready for Game 5. Everything on the line. Mariners with a chance to go to the ALCS for the first time since 2001.
Let's go.
Oh, man, how are we feeling? Are you optimistic? Are you feeling like they got this?
I'm feeling good about it. Don't get me wrong. But if I get asked one more time, last time I was on a plane coming back from New Jersey, and I got asked this a couple times on the plane.
Was this on the 3-hour layover, or
yes,
was this on the plane?
Yes, we had the seriously emergency landing. Can you believe it? If I get asked one more time, hey, can they beat Skubal? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like 50-50. Last time he went out there, you're thinking, man, he's going to dominate, but if they can do this, do that. Polanco beat him. He was still super dominant, man. He was so dominant. So,
well, it's not like
I'm feeling good about today, but it's a situation where it's like, anything can happen.
They've won all 3 games they faced him, but it's not like they went out there and lit him up. But they were able to beat him. Do you buy into the fact if somehow they can get to him early, with even a single run, whether it's a home run, they manufacture a run, whatever it is, he gives up a couple hits, then in the back of his mind, he's sitting up there going, are you kidding me with these guys again? Like, is there any, just a hint of doubt creeping into the back of his mind?
Absolutely. I mean, you've lost 3 times. It's crazy to think that, you know, I keep thinking, I go back to, is it 04 when Pedro Martinez just couldn't beat the Yankees, and he's just like, you might as well just call the Yankees my daddy.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is what I think is the same scenario right now. It's a situation where Skubal, we know how good he can be, but for whatever reason, he's just a little off or a little inefficient in his, you know, high capacity of strike throwing and the stuff that he does. And you know, you look at Polanco, I'm just looking at the history, right? He's 9 for 29. The reason why he's done so well is that he's seen him the most out of anyone on this lineup. Mm-hmm. And I think with Skubal, it's just, he's bound to throw one over the middle of the plate because he's going to challenge you with his stuff. So the thing that makes him really effective, especially against right-handed hitters, is his ability to throw strikes and balls. So sometimes when you're getting ready and strike one comes in and it's 99 right on the inner half, you're really not thinking that's the pitch you're going to attack. So you have to honor that as the at bat goes through. So I think the whole staff, the whole lineup is ready to pounce on him right now, and they've seen him before, so that obviously helps.
I think a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, his history with the Mariners this year, and everyone he hears it, right? I mean, these guys see it. Well, hey, look, the Mariners have done a little bit of damage against you. I mean, arguably going to be the Cy Young Award winner this year, but you go back to last year, Game 5 against the Guardians. He gave it up. They beat him, right? It wasn't a situation where it came down to one pitch. They beat him in a Game 5. That has to be in the back of his mind as well. In Cleveland, that's where that happened. The other thing is this too. Not just you go outside of the last game, Game 2 here at T-Mobile. That game in Detroit where Julio took him deep, you could see him start to get frustrated because he wasn't getting that same amount of chase. And you saw little bits, not as much as in Game 2, but little bits of that where that frustration was setting in. He was trying to get that fastball up and in, missing, and all of a sudden his head goes up like this, and he's, you know, just little bits. And you know how, Charlie, you know how it goes, man. 60 feet away, or the dude in the on-deck circle, they feed off of that. They really do. And Polanco, he fed off that. He laid off that one, the first home run he hit, laid off that changeup. That was a nasty changeup at the bottom of the strike zone. And then what does he do? Gets a little frustrated, throws something in the strike zone, feeling like he can beat him, and he got him. Next time, changeup, laid off both of them and got him. So it's just those little things that play off in your back of your mind. If that little frustration can seep in, they can get him.
Dan Wilson speaking last night, talking about their plan to attack Skubal in this game.
You know, again, I think that has been a key to our success over the last times we've faced him, is being able to put some pitches on him, especially during the regular season. You know, that's sometimes controllable, sometimes not. Like you said, if he's attacking the zone and getting, pitches into the zone early, you can't be as passive. But our guys, that's one of the things they do really well is they can adjust. And, I think tomorrow will be no different. It is a balance. But these guys have seen him now 3 times and, have a pretty good idea of what to expect. And we'll take that game plan, out there tomorrow and be ready to go.
So he brings it up there. You've seen him 3 times. They're not strangers here. He knows their lineup. They know him. How much of an adjustment on either side can truly be made in terms of what he does versus how they approach him?
Yeah, I almost think the approach that Skubal has to take has got to be different, more than the Mariners. And, I look at it from like when you're playing divisional teams, right? And you see the same pitcher over and over again throughout the year. Usually that second, third, fourth time you see him, it becomes a little bit easier. You know how he's going to attack you. You know what pitches to look for in certain counts, and it just becomes a little bit more simple. But I think that's what you heard Dan say is the ability to adjust, is to take an at bat and realize that maybe it's getting away from me, or maybe he's attacking me different. How do I make the adjustment mid at bat? Focus middle, get back to doing what they do well, and have to hit the ball hard up the middle.
One thing real quick on that, one thing with Tarek Skubal is when he can land that fastball in, especially up and in, man, he's so tough. The first 3 innings of that game.
Setting his changeup up.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Right? The first 3 innings of that game, he was dotting that. There was an at-bat there was one against Julio, one against Mitch Garver, where he was just absolutely dotting. When you go back in the regular season, I watched him against the Athletics who beat him up. I watched him against the Marlins beating him up. He wasn't able to get to that inner half of the plate. So that the team he's facing, he goes safety net, change up, change up, and you overexpose a little bit. Then all of a sudden that line can sit on that pitch and eliminate half the plate. So that's going to be key. When you're watching him today, see if he can land that fastball. And if he can't, man, all of a sudden you can eliminate half of that plate.
Harold Reynolds, a co-worker of yours at MLB Network, former Mariner, talking about the key to beating Skubal in his opinion.
What you're going to have to do as Seattle is what they did last time to beat him. Not just the home run, but you have to outlast him. You have to. He throws a shutout, we're throwing a shutout. And that's what it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be a bullpen game. And that is where the Tigers have won. You can forget all the different things we're talking about. Skubal's been great. Gilbert's been great. You go ahead and match up against guys all the way through.
It'll be Kirby, Castillo.
Yeah.
The 2 starters.
Those 2, they've been great as well. But the key to the series, why it's 2-2, has been the bullpens. It's been the bullpen, period.
Look,
and the Mariners have been using 4 pitchers every game. They got to find somebody else that's going to be able to toe that slab and get it done for them.
Well, and it feels like they've got 4 arms that weren't part of it before, right? You've got Logan, you've got Castillo, and you've got Miller, all available coming out of the bullpen. So that's different than what we saw in the other games, to Harold's point.
Yeah, I still think I'm optimistic here, but I think Skubal is a little bit more susceptible to giving up runs. And you look at the last 5 starts, 2 runs, 1 run, 3 run, 1 run, 4 runs. So he's giving up runs.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's in this stretch of pitching where we've seen, Ryan, other pitchers come in and they're just on a hot streak and they just are dealing. Everything's on. And that's where I feel like Skubal is that guy in a lot of ways, and he's done really, really, Cy Young caliber work this year. But I think now that the season's kind of in the wits end of it, I think he's a little more susceptible to giving up runs, and you're not going to see those big 13, 14 strikeout games anymore out of him.
He thinks he's a little overrated.
Yeah. I may have said Skubal sucks.
You know what? And to that point too, Charlie. I mean, you look at his game log, right? This is regular season against the Guardians. There's an L there. Goes 6 innings, gives up a run. Then you go back against Cleveland again. This is in regular season. 6 innings, dominant, gets the L. There's a loss right next to it. Let's be real here. Like said, man, you have to match him and you have to wait him out and you have to get into that pitch count. You cannot come up in a situation where it's that second inning and you'll come up just hacking, getting quick outs, man. You cannot allow him. And if he is in this mindset where he wants to blow doors off and get strikeouts, just like we see with Logan Gilbert this year, where the pitch count goes up quick, a little bit more inefficient. All right, well then attack that inefficiency. If you want to get strikeouts, it's going to take you 5 pitches every hitter to get that punch out and get into that pitch count as quick as you can.
It is the Mariners Pennant Push, brought to you by Cheetos. Also, Fan Friday is powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Coming up, will it be a superstar or an unsung hero who comes up big in the Mariners lineup tonight? We'll get into that next as we continue live from Victory Hall here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Deep breath, Seattle. We got this.
Ryan's in Michigan. What's up, Ryan?
Let me paint you a picture. It is August. We are told that we are going to go to ALDS Game 5. You would kill to be here today. Let's get fired up. Let's go.
Come on, Brock.
Come on, my people. This is not a time to have fear.
Brock and Salk every morning 6 to 9. And Mariners-Tigers Game 5 tonight at 5:08 on Seattle Sports. On 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Tim Hunter, former Seattle radio goofball here with 2 words that aren't funny. Prostate cancer. Get your annual checkup. Keep an eye on that PSA number. And if you hear those 2 words like I did, talk to the folks at Swedish Cyberknife. 5 treatments, minimally invasive and technologically advanced over the other options. If you were a friend and I consider you one, I'd highly recommend Swedish Cyberknife. We are so lucky to have them right here in town. Do your research, but definitely visit swedish.org/Cyberknife prostate.
Dave Wyman here, and we've been fortunate to hear from 2 Swedish Cyberknife patients this year, Andy Ryder and Tim Hunter. Both heard about Cyberknife from our radio ads and completed successful treatment, raving about their experiences. Tim was impressed that treatment only took 5 days. Andy hosted a large international delegation the week after his treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife here in Seattle. Go to swedish.org/Cyberknife prostate.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks Monday Night Football game October 20th. Head to the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds. Do it every day, October 7th through October 13th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. From the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. Home of your American League West Division champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Right now, receive up to a $25 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Mariners Pennant Push, presented by Cheetos.
We continue live from Victory Hall. It's Bob Stelton, Charlie Furbush, Ryan Rowland-Smith taking you up until the Mariners pregame show, which will start at 4 p.m. It is Game 5, playing for the right to take on the Toronto Blue Jays in the ALCS. And guys, we've seen a bunch of different people step up. First two games, it was Julio and it was Cal. Then we saw Polanco chip in. And this last game, despite it being a loss, was good to see some of the other bats come to life a bit in that. So hopefully there's some confidence leading into this game. But is this a game where you look at it and say, well, if Julio and Cal don't do it, it's going to be a rough night? Or do you have enough faith in what we've seen from the lineup to this point that it could be a Canzone, it could be a Garver, and we'll talk about the lineup coming up, but somebody other than the two obvious names?
Yeah, and obviously that first night, I'm going to say this, man, even though there wasn't a whole lot of offense coming out of the gates, and you're wondering if, the layoff, there's going to be a little bit of rust, and offensively, as deep as this lineup is, okay, would that affect them? And it kind of did. However, if you're going to have two guys to kick it off and come up big, and then especially in game two, why not your two superstars, Julio and Cal? It just gives you, and Charlie, you know this, man, you're either in the bullpen or in the dugout, and Julio comes up, gets a big hit, looks back at the dugout. It's just that good feeling like, okay, we're all good here. We're in a situation where we feel really comfortable where we're at. But I got to say, man, looking at this lineup, and even in the losses in this too, how big has J.P. Crawford been, man? First of all, some of the at-bats just not changing anything, not coming up and thinking, man, I have to produce here because I've got to run you in scoring position. They're trying to match me up. Now all of a sudden I'm going to try and press a little bit. He's just had that good same approaches that he's had all regular season. So at the bottom of that lineup, we talked about some of the pitch counts against Tarek Skubal to chip away. If you can get 7, 8, 9, have those deeper at-bats, get the mistakes in the middle of the lineup, good things are going to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. And to the JP point, he's 5 for 8, right? I mean, he's seen Skubal and he stays in on lefties. So, typically when you have a lefty, they kind of, get away from their own self or don't, hit to their strength. So
you see him bailing a bit.
Yeah, you tend to see that. But I'm on the same board. I really feel like, to me, as much as I want to have Julio come through, I think it's going to be the Cal show tonight. And him hitting from the right side, seeing Skubal now for the millionth time it feels, and I just feel like you get back to 22, what Cal did in that situation, and came up big and super clutch. I just imagine I feel like another big Cal moment is upon us, and I really, really hope it happens tonight.
How hard is it to keep them? And this is something Cal himself said about Game 1, that they were trying to be too big at the plate. Everybody was kind of playing hero ball, if you will, swinging for the fences. With what's at stake, you lose, that's it, season's over. Right. Knowing that going in, how do you dial that back? How do you keep it small?
Well, I think, first of all, Cal can say that. I haven't really seen that from him so much because, again, there's been some there's been some at-bats where get your A swing off, have at it. And even back to JP. But there's been plenty, you can go 80% of it, where there hasn't been that getting too big, especially from Cal. But speaking of that too, you got a situation where Josh Naylor, we know about his, the birth of his first, kid. All of a sudden now he's in a situation, he's here, he doesn't have to travel, go all the way over to Detroit. I'm not saying that's all, hey, dusted, you just had your first newborn life's just completely changed. If Josh Naylor and Gino Suarez can come up big here, and you know what, if you get a 2-0, 2-1 count, I've got no problem with you trying to get big on some of these pitches. Let it eat, man. Try and come up and go big fly or something. If you can get that damage count like a 2-0 or 2-1.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Naylor. I felt like in game 2 against Skubal, he took a couple of bats, swung at the first pitch, rolled him over. Like, didn't really seem like it was competitive. And then, I think he learned from it, had a couple longer at-bats in the next consecutive game. So he's a guy that I think can also make a left-handed pitcher uncomfortable. Ryan, his fellow lefties, there aren't too many left-handed hitters out there that go, oh, I'm a little nervous facing this guy, and I think he checks that box right now, knowing what he can do from a damage perspective.
How big was it to see him? Because up until this last game, he hadn't had a hit.
Yeah.
He hadn't had a hit. In fact, it was kind of negative. He booted that ball at first base. It hadn't been going his way. And then he comes up with 3 hits in this last game. Again, they don't win, but just individually putting his frame of mind, stepping into the box tonight, how much different is he now?
I think it's way different. I think even though you lose the way you did that last game, and it was tough, man. And it was a real deflating situation when all of a sudden you get a 3-run lead early. Like, it's over. Casey Myers comes out of that game. We've got plenty of looks against these guys.
Yeah.
But obviously the Tigers.
Crowd's booing them.
You're like, this is rubbing your hands. You have to lead that game taking something away. And Josh Naylor all of a sudden figuring some things out is huge, because what happened at the end of this year, going all the way through that Astros series into that Rockies series, who was coming up big? It was Josh Naylor. And even Gino the night before.
Yeah.
Finally
came up with a hit, long ball.
Long ball, yeah. So those two guys are going to be key, I think.
Yeah. I'm all from a Gino Suarez perspective, trying to hit a home run every time. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, at this point, it's like...
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Well, I know,
that's not going
right.
to change.
So it's like, just do that, and hopefully you run into one. I think that's why they went and got him. And when he's playing well and he gets on a hot streak, he starts looking like a beach ball up there. He's swinging at everything, hitting it out of the park.
Charlie, you made a good point, too, because I was thinking back. When you're facing a lefty and you throw that slider that's just
nasty,
and the reaction is just like, I said that from a mile away. Man, I'm telling you, it can mess with you big time.
When you don't get the right response.
Oh, man, when you get nothing, like when you get that look as if, say, I see that from a mile away, I'm telling you, man, that can mess you up. Josh Naylor, that matchup could be more key than what you think, a Josh Naylor versus Skubal.
It messed me up back in the day, I tell you that much.
If too many guys didn't get that response on that pitch,
And by the way, Josh Naylor handles lefties too. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That could be huge.
Coming up, we're going to dive into the lineups for both teams and where the game will be won and where it may be lost. All of that coming your way next as we continue live from Victory Hall. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
It all comes down to one win or go home showdown at T-Mobile Park tonight.
This team is fired up. The fans here at T-Mobile Park are fired up.
Everything's in front of us, and they do fight back, and they do bounce back.
Done it all year. I don't see why anything's going to change.
Got a lot of resiliency in this club.
We believe in each other, and we're ready to fight.
It's Trident's up.
There it is. Strike rate call. He did it.
First pitch at 5:08, and there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
The fall, well, it's a great time to reset your workouts on new stuff, and Top Fitness has some great deals going on right now. Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you've heard me talk about working out in your home gym. It's the best. From flooring to everything that goes in that gym, like treadmills, ellipticals, and strength training systems, well, Top Fitness provides it all. Top Fitness represents the very best brands available, like Washington's own Precor, yes, the company that created the elliptical, and Inspire Fitness, the leader in strength training machines, along with so many others. Give Top Fitness your room dimensions right now, and you know what? They'll do the rest. They'll do a complete fitness room design. And right now, get 0% interest financing. Mention you heard it from me and receive an additional $100 off any new treadmill or home gym. It's no secret that everyone, from personal trainers to professional athletes, love Top Fitness. Top Fitness has locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit them online at topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
I had a young woman who was on a new SUV, and she had attachments to her old car because it was her first car, and she had questions because she was doubling her spending budget, and she was very fiscally responsible. It was almost making her sick. And the best path at that point was to, let's stop for the night, and you go home and take a breath. She came back in the morning and bought the car. She was way happier. These are major life accomplishments. You have the ability to afford at this tier. You've secured one of the major needs in your life. You should be feeling a tremendous amount of pride and respect for your accomplishments. I'm just grateful that we get to celebrate it with them, that we get to be part of it in that aspect of it.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Baseball's postseason is here.
And so does everyone in this building.
Seattle sports playoff coverage is presented by Honey Bucket, 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Welcome to the Mariners Pennant Push, presented by Cheetos.
The Seattle Mariners are champions in the American League West.
2 hours of special pregame coverage, counting you down to first pitch in the American League Division Series.
It is on its way. It is history. Cal Raleigh stands alone.
The Mariners Pennant Push continues right here. Seattle Sports on 710. We are coming to you live from Victory Hall. Bob Stelton, Ryan Rowland-Smith, and Charlie Furbush with you, taking you up to the Mariners pregame show beginning at 4 p.m. for the decisive Game 5 of the Division Series. Winner moves on to face off against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto starting on Sunday. Meanwhile, the lineups are out. I want to get your guys' take on this. And Charlie, let's start with you. You got Randy leading off, followed by Cal, Julio, Polanco, Suarez, Naylor. Mitch Garver is your DH. Victor Robles hitting 8th. J.P. Crawford hitting 9th. 2 questions on this. And I threw this out yesterday. A, would you think to tinker with the lineup at all in that I don't love Randy in the leadoff spot. You just brought up how JP's been attacking, how he makes a pitcher work, his at-bats. Personally, I would put JP in that leadoff spot. I'd move Randy to the middle, and I'd have Robles hitting 9th. Is this too late in the game to do anything like that? You want to stick with what it's been? And then B, so comment on that, and then B, Mitch Garver is your DH. I get it. Lefty, righty, I get that that's the thing, but at some point, don't you have to go with somebody that you just feel is, this guy's hotter. I've got more faith that they're going to produce something good. I don't care if they're a lefty, because you got a guy who's hitting 276 versus lefties, which is better than what Garver does in Dom Canzone.
Yeah, it's a, interesting thing that we talk about with the lineup. And, I tend to believe that Randy is, I think, a better play right now. I think it would be too much to ask of JP to put him in the leadoff spot. But, moving forward, he's been a leadoff hitter, so it's not like it's, the worst thing. But I think in this scenario, I would rather have Randy and his experience leading off the game, and in hopes that he kind of gives us a glimpse of what playoff Randy really is. We know how good he's been in the past. And then when you look at Garver, it's the same thing as Gino. He has hit a home run off Skubal before. They are banking that he's going to run into one and hit one over the fence. And I think it's a fair play. And when you look at how the Mariners have scored runs this year, second in home runs in the American League, or second in the American League in home runs, they're going to, most likely, a lot of their wins are going to involve home runs. So in terms of the Garver, I don't hate it. I would imagine that he's probably going to get 1, maybe 2 at-bats before, he gets pinch hit for. I would imagine that happens as well. But yeah, I do like Randy in the leadoff spot. I have said previously maybe we should move away from that, but I think given the scenario right now where we're at in the season, this would be the best play, given the potential that he can add to the lineup at the top of it.
I think first of all, with Randy in the leadoff spot, thick and thin, month of August, month of September, when they put him into that leadoff spot, good things happened, right? They did. Good things happened. I know it's a situation now where you're looking at this going, man, okay, this is do or die. But if you walk into that locker room, and you know this too, Charlie, you walk in, all of a sudden you see J.P. Crawford back up there. Hasn't been up there since early on in the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. Subconsciously, you start to think, are we trying to overdo this a little bit? All of a sudden, things start to change with how your approach, as opposed to coming to the ballpark thinking, all right, this is how our lineup's been structured, especially after the trade deadline. It's barely moved at all. Now, so I would keep Randy in the leadoff spot. Now, with the Mitch Garver situation, I get it. I understand that the same point I'm making with Randy in the leadoff spot. But Dominic Canzone has been really impressive down the stretch in the month of September on a couple fronts. Number one, handled lefties, hitting 270 against lefties, 270 plus. He's handled 90 plus velocity too, right? 95 plus, he's done some damage too. He's been able to get to that pitch. Again, obviously, Tarek Skubal's going to throw plus velocity left on left. I get that. The other thing too with Dom Canzone is, with 2 strikes, he's been unreal in the month of September. That tells me that, all right, if you can have that deeper at bat, and you can have a situation where you tell him early enough, because this goes back to, we can go have a whole hour on this conversation about him coming back from AAA. Dan Wilson says, hey, look, you're my guy tomorrow against Tarek Skubal, left on left. You're my guy. I'm going to have you hit here in 7th in lineup. Right? I want you to back yourself, see something you want to hit, get after it, but I want you to back yourself and be comfortable getting deeper in the count. I'm thinking to myself, man, that's the one adjustment I might make, is have Dom Canzone in there. I know he hasn't done a whole lot in these playoffs, but you got that base hit, you got pinch hit early, so that tells me that they feel a little bit differently. But that's the one thing, man, we're looking at Mitch Garver and Dom Canzone at some point. However, later on in the game, we know about the matchups. Dom Canzone is going to play a role in this game.
See, that's what I think too. I think he's more valuable coming in later in the game, pitching against a righty, or, instead of having to get 3 at-bats against Skubal. That's a tough ask, and as much as I think Skubal is going to underperform today, he obviously has the ability.
So that's your take, huh?
Yeah, he obviously has the ability to do some great things. And, I find the more value in Canzone later in the game, coming in to get a big hit like he's done in the past.
Yeah, and look, I get it on the surface. It makes sense. But I just think we're just sort of married to, power lefty, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Like this is just our habit. This is our routine versus Who gives me a better shot? Who do I have more faith in coming through with something? And I was telling you before the show, look, if they put Canzone in there and he grounds out, he strikes out, pops up 3 times, I can live with that versus Garver being put in there, who just has not been hot since he's been in Seattle.
Right.
And counting on him to run into one. Certainly he can. We've seen him hit it. The guy's got tremendous power. It just doesn't happen very often, and it feels like almost a big ask for somebody who really hasn't been in the lineup to go in there and, all right, here's Skubal. Do your thing.
Absolutely. The other thing, too, with Dom Canzone, it's not, when I say he's done well against lefties, the sample size started to get bigger and bigger because he was playing against lefties in the month of September, tough lefties, too. And, man, he was putting some good at-bats. I'm like, wow. I kept saying, and especially during the game when I was calling the games, I kept saying every time he did something big against a lefty, I'm like, I sound like a broken record. Wow, how impressive has this been against lefties? Like
he's hitting 276 versus lefties. Right. He's got better on base versus lefties, 368 versus 353 against righties. He's got obviously a lot more plate appearances against righties, 186 versus 58. So,
but still, this is not a situation where it's 500 at bats versus righties and just the occasional 50 at bat. This is, again, the 58 is still substantial. You remember he's only been here for about a couple months,
right?
Or 2.5 months. Anyway, again, it's a situation, but Charlie, you make a great point, man. You have a Dom Canzone there as a matchup later on in this game, and it forces A.J. Hinch to then go to his bullpen again.
Yeah. I with Canzone specifically, those are great numbers against left-handed pitchers. That's awesome. But is that a flash in the pan where he came in and he was just hitting everything great, and then you're expecting him to do awesome things against the best pitcher in the American League? So I think that's where, and the fact that he still, doesn't have a ton of experience under his belt, there's a lot of things that I think that point to Mitch being like, I can handle this environment, the situation a little bit better.
Which I get. Mitch has been through it. He was in a World Series. He knows what it is. And I'm hoping by talking about him this way, it'll be the reverse jinx. He's going to go 4 for 4 with 2 home runs, and then I'll come in on Monday and I'll be happy to wear it. I was wrong.
There's your X factor today.
Dan was right. He's smart. I'm dumb. Whatever. I don't care.
Trade
Just
Canzone.
Yeah. Whatever it takes to get the W, I'm on board. But taking a look at what the Tigers are bringing out, it's pretty much been business as usual. They got Carpenter, followed by Torres, Green, Torkelson, Colt Keith as the DH. Zach McKinstry moves up a bit. He's hitting 6th in the lineup. Dylan Dingler, and then you've got Parker Meadows and then Javi Baez going in the 9 spot there. Where do you look? I mean, I know. Again, Carpenter's being sort of propped up as Barry Bonds Jr. Like, what are they going to do with him? Yeah, he's got some pop, but I feel like there's a little hyperbole attached to him based on that 1 home run he hit. And again, as J.P. Morosi pointed out, that's his only hit. He's got 1 hit in this whole series in 4 games, and it was that home run off of Kirby. But beyond him, where do you look at? All right, you got to navigate really carefully in this spot of the lineup.
Yeah, to me, again, I think Riley Green is a better hitter than Kerry Carpenter. So he, to me, is more of the guy you need to kind of worry about. But when you look at the 2-3-4 between Gleyber Torres, Riley Green, and Spencer Torkelson, I think that's going to be arguably the toughest stretch of the lineup each time they come up. That's if you can get through them, I don't think the rest of the lineup is all that tough. And that's where, it's kind of the same thing on the Mariners side, right? I mean, there's a sense that if once you get through Naylor, 7, 8, 9, could be an easier out. But I think looking at it right here, 2-3-4 between Torres, Green, and Torkelson, those are the 3 guys that I say don't let those guys beat you.
Right, 100%. I mean, again, Torres, it looks better and better every time, and he just wears that right field, man. Especially deep in counts where all of a sudden it's a plus pitch, and especially right on right too, plus pitch, and he can just hit that ball with authority into right field. He's gotten better and better as the series has gone along. Obviously, Riley Green, something woke up with him. He hit that home run. He's starting to just have better swing decisions. So that's a tough part of the lineup, Torres, Green, and Torkelson. That's where you talk about that 5th inning with a Gabe Spire or whatever that point is. That's where it's like, I'm pressing the panic button right here. I'm not second-guessing. That's my spot, as opposed to us worrying about Kerry Carpenter up against, George Kirby.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like I guess, I don't know, what is it? The fear, the apprehension about Kerry Carpenter is a bit overblown?
A little bit. Yeah, and again, I think. Look,
I mean, he can do damage. He may go do it tonight, but
absolutely,
he just hasn't beyond that one moment.
Right, and he's you know, you mentioned the numbers against George Kirby. Even though he said the other day, he goes, "Oh man, he's nasty. You know, that ball gets on you. Everything's got movement." Okay,
he's not going to go up there and say it's easy.
He came off the IL, right, where he hadn't seen live pitching at that level, and he went deep twice on 2 different pitches. Well, I get it. One was a hang and split, but the other one was a hitter up the top of the strike zone when George Kirby was, you know, blowing 96, 97. He sees him well. So there's definitely that fear of it. I just think that I said this earlier when JP Morosi was sitting here, that if George Kirby can back himself with a 2-strike count or a leverage count and get on top of that breaking ball, get it below the strike zone, that's going to be just at the very least, a different look against a Carpenter in that situation.
You fall behind a Carpenter if you're Kirby. Do you start pitching around him, so to speak? Yeah, you're not going to walk him intentionally, but you start thinking, okay, I'm not going to give this guy anything to square up. I'm going to try to see if I can get him chase, and if he walks, he walks. I can live with that versus him putting one in the seats.
Yeah, I mean, with Kirby and his elite accuracy, I think he's like, that's the approach for every at-bat is, how do I avoid the middle of the zone? How do I, you know, attack up, down, left, right, and just live in that area and know that, yeah, there's a chance you're going to throw in over the middle of the plate throughout the game. That's how it goes, but not necessarily trying to change my game plan, because I think even when you heard it when he was that exciting Kirby pregame interview,
he was electric.
He was electric. But I think that for me, that's what I want out of my starter right now. It's like I want a starter that's kind of not letting the game get too big right now, and just say, yeah, if I can go out and execute and do my thing, then it's going to give ourselves a good chance to win the game. And I think that's where, if they can just simplify the process in the hecticness of what we're going to deal with at T-Mobile tonight, I think they're going to do all right.
In terms of dealing with T-Mobile, I can't imagine this building not rumbling, not being just berserk. What kind of impact, and I don't know what kind of crowds you've experienced throughout your career, but were there moments where the crowd actually got to you, or you just... I don't know if we overplayed the impact of a crowd versus a player who's up there and just tunnel vision and just, I don't hear what's being said to me. I don't hear volume. I'm dialed into what's in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, obviously, you know, the crowd that plays a big part. I still think, though, you get to Game 5 at this point where the Tigers have gone through Cleveland, 3 games in Cleveland, right, able to make their way through. 2 games here in Seattle. It was heavy. You get to this point in Game 5. I think it's more of the Game 5 do or die as opposed to, oh man, I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed here by the crowd, right? I think that's going to play a little bit more of a factor with both these teams too. You just don't want a situation again where it's like, where you pitch or hit, don't mess up. If you get to that mindset of, oh man, I don't want to mess up, or that's not a good place to be in because it's Game 5, as opposed to, all right, 2-0 count. I'm going to get something middle of the plate like I was going to in July, and I'm just going to salivate over this pitch. I'm going to get an A swing off, as opposed to, oh man, don't miss this. This is going to be my one shot. If you get a 2-0 count, you try and do too much.
What do you think about this crowd? Can it be impactful, or do we look at it as having more of an impact than maybe the players are giving it to?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a player, you try to do your best to quiet the noise and stay within yourself and you know, focus on execution, but there is no joke, at least in my experience, playing on the road, playing Yankee Stadium, playing Philadelphia, playing in Kansas City when they were rolling. The crowd, you can feel it, and you can feel the energy when you know you have to make a big pitch on the mound. If it's 2-2, 3-2, and you need to throw a strike, you can just feel the energy that is out there that is all against you. Like, it's just, you know it's there. But how do you stay within yourself to kind of blank the noise? That's where the crowd can totally overwhelm a pitcher, I think, more so than a hitter. I think a hitter, you know, kind of understands, hey, just stay middle, just put my hands and try to hit the ball that's over the middle of the plate. But as a pitcher, you know that, you know, this crowd is hoping you fail. They want you to fail. So how do you navigate that, and knowing that the stakes are as high as they'll ever be in a lot of ways for most guys' careers tonight.
Yeah, and again, I said this earlier, but it's my hope that the Mariners can just kind of get to him early, whether it's even just getting him to throw a bunch of pitches in that first inning. If they don't play to run, but all of a sudden you look and he threw 22 pitches, 25, I mean, just working him to where he's just maybe the slightest bit of doubt in the back of his mind, like this freaking team again.
Right.
I just want that exasperation if they can get that into him.
A little bit, just that frustration where it's like, man, usually I get that pitch, or usually I get that chase on that pitch, but early on too, going back to with Tarek Skubal, you cannot come up and all of a sudden be super aggressive out the gates and an 8-pitch inning, 7-pitch inning. Couple reasons why. Number one, that you feel like, man, even when I'm in the strike zone, it's glass half empty, where it's like I can just get weak contact and have to blow doors off. You want a situation where it's taking 5 or 6 pitches every time, and a little bit more of that, man. You glancing up, and Charlie, I guarantee you've been there, especially as a starting pitcher. Look up, go, man, I got 50 pitches, only the 3rd inning. It plays in the back of your mind because he knows he's carrying this team, man. He knows that A.J. Hinch is not going to that bullpen. He knows he has to get deep into this game, right, for multiple reasons. Tarek Skubal. So that's a victory in itself. You can get 25, 28 pitches that first inning, or a 20-pitch inning, whatever, in the second, and start getting him out of that element.
Yeah, as soon as you can get to the bullpen, the better. So if that's going to take 20 pitches an inning and, hopefully get them out by the 6th, right? I mean, I think that would be a win in a lot of ways for the Mariners to go, okay, now it's just against their bullpen, get them out of the game as quick as we can. But, they're up against it, man. They're up against it right now. And it's like knowing that they're going to have to, and the reason why I say that is that there's just not going to be many opportunities for the offense. So the opportunities that do arise in at-bats, they're going to have to capitalize on, because you may not get another one.
How much does that work on you mentally? You've talked about this before, Ryan, where you talked about a guy goes up and maybe has a 7-8 pitch at-bat against you, 8-9, whatever it is, but you eventually get him out. He rolls over, he pops up, you strike him out, but you feel like that was kind of a win for the
Big
hitter.
time.
You've talked about that. I mean, are you sort of cataloging it like, yeah, I recorded the out, but that guy made me battle for 9 pitches?
It's exhausting, man. I mean, a lot of guys say, look, a lot of pitchers say, if I have to go 6+ pitches against you to get you out, you've won. Like, straight up, you've won that battle. Like, even though you get that out, it is exhausting, especially for a guy. I keep going back to this with Tarek Skubal.
Are you talking physically or just mentally, like this?
More so mentally.
Yeah.
More so mentally, man. I mean, it really plays its part. Not to mention, too, when, again, going back to Game 5 of last year, and if you go back and watch that game, not saying you're going to go watch that before this one, but
I might.
It was foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. You see, if you're watching this game at home or you're watching in person, what kind of non-verbals are you seeing from Tarek Skubal in between pitches? Foul ball, catching the ball back, snatching back, getting frustrated. We've seen it 1,000 times. That's where you show. That's where it's showing that he's getting a little bit more mentally exhausted than what he's used to having in 30 starts in 2025, where he's essentially going to win the Cy Young.
And that's where the guy on deck's watching, right? He's looking at him snapping the ball back or putting his palms up if he doesn't get a call, right? Is that something you're mentally thinking, all right, I'm not going to give a tell here. I'm ticked, I'm frustrated, I should have gotten that call, this guy's making me work. But are you consciously aware of body language when you're up there?
Yeah, and from a pitching side, you have to be relentlessly focused on everything, and you can't let your guard down at any point in time. And when you do run into a long pitch at bat, the next guy is up there just kind of salivating, ready to see the next pitch, because it's hard to stay locked into the next at bat. So that's where it's going to be really fun to see if the Mariners can put some pressure on Skubal from an offensive standpoint and say, yeah, we've seen you before. We're going to foul off those pitches. We're not going to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt that you're just going to kick our butts today. Excuse me, I almost slipped there.
We'd forgive you.
But that's what it is. So the offense is going to have to really, I would say, do the best to have really strong at-bats every time you're up there, and not think that, I'm just going to go up there sitting on one pitch and try and hit it out of the park.
How much does it change your mentality if they pick up a run? Let's say they pick up a run, all of a sudden do you feel like, all right, we're down 1-0. Do you start to be I mean, because these runs are at a premium.
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
we saw the first 2 games, 3-2, 3-2. One went to 11 innings. I mean, it's just runs are hard to come by. I know what happened in the last game, but they jump out early. Crowd's going nuts. It's 1-0. Do you start maybe Skubal tries to be too fine? I got to be perfect. I can't allow any more damage.
So, okay, a couple things on that, and I'll get to that in just a second. Let's not forget, too, for Tarek Skubal, and as a starting pitcher, when you're on the bus heading to the ballpark or driving to the ballpark, you visually play the game in your head a couple times before you get here. And you try and overcome some of the bad visuals you see that land that pitch down away, whack, base hit into right field, runner at second scores. And so you think, okay, look, I've been here before, and I remember then that 5th inning I was in total control. Every time he's been here in 2025, it hasn't been that way. There's been plenty of frustration. It's been loud. Also, hey, this is a Game 5. What happened last year, Game 5? That all plays a role. It really, really does. But to your point, in regards to getting runs early, you go back to at the end of August when this team was really struggling. Look at the numbers in innings 1 through 3. They were putting up half a run a game in innings 1 through 3. They weren't getting anything done scoring early. So regardless of who they face, call it Tarek Skubal, yeah, it sucks, man. You give up a run or two and you're like, oh, it's the worst. And then all of a sudden, guess what? All those same things you just dealt with the last couple of times you were here, going back to April, and then Game 2, it all starts seeping in. But on the flip side too, offensively, think about what it does for your team in that dugout. And I've seen this a bunch of times, even in September when they're having that run. I was down on field level when JP hit that home run into right field. That dugout was flat because they were coming off that road trip where they just couldn't score early. They couldn't get in this, oh, hey, we're in control of this game mode from scoring early.
Right.
5th, 6th inning, they were flat. And I was sitting there going, oh, man, this brings back memories of being on bad teams where I couldn't score runs. And I'm looking at the dudes like up and down the dugout going, oh, man, this brings back so many memories, Charlie. I don't know if you remember, but you're sitting there going, it's the worst. Then all of a sudden, JP comes up, hits that home run. The dugout's completely different. And then I was down there again. They scored early. Man, it's so much fun. You're in total control. It's going to be huge, not just against Tarek Skubal, but for this team on the offensive side.
Yeah, and then think about what it does for George Kirby scoring early, right?
Absolutely.
Knowing as a starting pitcher, if you got runs, you are now pitching more aggressive and confidently because you do have a little bit more, let's say, leash to kind of experiment within at-bats, right? I think you're going to attack.
So you're changing your approach. If you come out there and
Not
you've
so
got
much approach.
Not so much approach.
But maybe you're more aggressive than you otherwise would be?
Yeah, I would say like, as somebody that you're going to rely on your secondary weapons, your changeups, your sliders, your curveballs, you may end up sticking more heaters and attacking guys with your heater because as a pitcher, we're always taught that the more outs you can get with your fastball, take them, right? Like if you can get guys out and they're not hitting your fastball, then that's a great approach. And that's where I think, you bring up, are you changing your approach? I think that kind of happens throughout the game. You go, okay, well, maybe my percentage of fastball went up because I have runs as opposed to really having to dig deep and look at every at-bat and go, wow, I have to use my whole repertoire to get this guy out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We are live at Victory Hall. Coming back, we're going to talk about the key to beating Tarek Skubal. Again, might actually rest on the Mariners pitching staff. That's coming your way next. Bob Stelton, Ryan Rowland-Smith, Charlie Furbush with you. It's the Mariners Pennant Push right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Deep breath, Seattle. We got this.
Ryan's in Michigan. What's up, Ryan?
Let me paint you a picture. It is August. We are told that we're going to go to ALDS Game 5. You would kill to be here today. Let's get fired up. Let's go.
Come on, Brock.
Come on, my people. This is not a time to have fear.
Brock and Salk every morning 6 to 9. And Mariners-Tigers Game 5 tonight at 5:08 on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Take a look outside. The riding weather is still sticking with us for a while. Hopefully you guys are getting out on that bike as much as possible. And look, every rider's got a different story. And for some of you, I know you've sent in the text talking about rides you've taken. You've also talking about some of the accidents you've been involved with. And if you do take that unexpected turn and you're looking for answers, you're looking for somebody to lead you through it, You don't do that alone. You do it with somebody that's got experience. I'm talking about a quarter century's worth of experience with the Law Tigers. They will make sure you get what you deserve. Again, in Washington, every motorcycle ride writes its own chapter, from the twists of Highway 101 to the beauty of Stevens Pass. When that unexpected happens, you need that experience, and the Law Tigers are that group. They are ready to ride with you. Give them a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. They are not just attorneys. They're actual riders who know the road. They know the risks that come with it. They're going to help you get your gear and your bike repaired or replaced. They know what those things mean to you. And on top of that, the consultation is completely free. They don't get paid until you get paid. So again, whether you were talking about the Cascade Loop and the scenic routes of Mount St. Helens, things can happen. They can go the wrong way, and that's where the Law Tigers step in. Give them a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. The Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers, Cook Law Office, PLLC, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we perform an 18-point maintenance check with every oil change to help make sure you're good to go.
And?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Huh. Wonder why the dealership isn't that easy.
Well, we'd let you know if we found something in our check.
Oh, great. That was easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, thorough, and honest, come with no charge.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, a full sports book and bar, over 1,000 top-rated slots and table games, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
If you use the carpool lanes along SR 167 after October 20th, you will need a Flex Pass set to HOV mode to ride free. That's a change. Having Good to Go always costs less than pay by mail. That is not a change. Learn more at goodtogo167.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Why is Mazda of Everett the #1 dealer on the West Coast? Mazda of Everett is locally owned and operated for 20 years. They work hard to get you their best deal every time and to make sure you drive away happy. With over 700 new Mazdas, they stock more than anyone in the Seattle area. Find out for yourself why people keep coming back to Mazda of Everett. Take advantage of the Mazda of Everett price during the More to Move You sales event. MazdaofEverett.com. Claims based on Mazda USA inventory and sales reports.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III!
Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals.
Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Lowe's knows pros want more. Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free to get $20 off your first qualifying purchase of $100 or more just for signing up. Plus, enjoy free standard shipping and more ways to save on your next job. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid for new members only. Not valid with any other discount. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/pro-loyalty for details. Subject to change.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
This is Mariners Pennant Push, presented by Cheetos.
Mariners Pennant Push continues live from Victory Hall. Bob Stelton, Ryan Rowland-Smith, and Charlie Furbush with you. Look at Charlie asking you for autographs. I thought you guys knew each other.
No,
I can introduce you. I can get you an autograph from Ryan if you need it.
But I do want to say this. Yeah, this is awesome. I love doing this. We did this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We did it out here. And
yeah, we were outside.
Everyone
with
was in
Morosi.
such a good mood. It was epic. Now, everyone wasn't in a great mood after the game. Fair enough. What was it, 18 innings?
18.
Yes.
2 games
Remember the
in one.
smoke? It was super smoky that day.
But this is fun. Just on that, people are coming up. We get, taking photos and signing stuff. But then Charlie signs a sweet spot. I'm like, I'll just shove mine here on the seam somewhere.
It was requested.
Man, unreal.
Then
he didn't leave you any room.
No, just giant Charlie Furbush. Was like,
right.
Fair enough.
I don't get many opportunities to sign a sweet spot, so I jumped at it.
You should get more. Do people know you've been immortalized on the wall of T-Mobile Park going into the visitors' dugout?
If they don't, they do now. Thank you very much.
Part of that combined no-hitter. His
Yes.
picture is up there on the wall. It's amazing. And this guy struck out Ken Griffey Jr., by God.
That's right.
And I watched both of you. So there's that. So looking at this matchup with Skubal we've been talking about and going with Kirby, do you like this match? I mean, hypothetically, if everybody had the same level of rest, same amount of rest, you had Castillo, you had Gilbert, you had Kirby, you had Miller. Is this who you'd go with in this game, or do you feel like, yeah, if this guy had the rest, I'd go with him above Kirby?
Well, I was saying, as we're winding down the season, the Mariners had clinched against the Rockies. I was saying, okay, if you can reshape the rotation over Logan Gilbert game one, that's kind of how I was looking at it. But remember, it's not a situation where this team was all of a sudden pushed to the brink and all of a sudden you're out of options and George Kirby was a game one starter. No, they had plenty of time to map this out. So they are so convinced that he's the guy for game one. And the Mariners do a very good job with orchestrating their pitching. They really do, from a starting pitching to a bullpen. So when I see that, and when I see that it's just convincingly, okay, it's going to be George Kirby in this game one situation against the Detroit Tigers, there's multiple reasons for that. And honestly, you look at it, and the more you look at it, you think to yourself, okay, he's that game one guy. I want him for game five as well. By the way, he looked so good in game one. Velocity was up. He was landing that breaking ball against lefties, which is crucial because he doesn't have that split. He made the one mistake, and that pitch was way above the strike zone. So I'm all in on having George Kirby. Not to mention, too, the fact that he can go out there and just empty the tank knowing he's got some boys behind him as well.
Before you weigh in, would you have pulled him if you were managing prior to Carpenter?
No.
You would have gone with him.
No, I would not have. Now, again, in hindsight, look back at, Burrington, maybe Gabe Spire should have been in there.
And
Sure.
he was ready.
Let's say in the moment, and I don't care about your OPS and third time through and all that. I don't care about that. All this rubbish I heard online when everyone's so good in hindsight. It's unbelievable.
They're almost never wrong.
Oh yeah. In the moment, in that situation, watching George Kirby and the way he was just with that mount, that presence he had, velocity was up. He punched out Riley Green right before that. No, let it eat, son.
Yeah, I mean, I agree there. I also agree with having Kirby go as game one. When you look at the starters, obviously with Wu being out, that's tough. That's not at any point what you wanted. But Kirby is the hardest starting pitcher, like our hardest throwing starting pitcher. You could arguably say Gilbert was, but he's lost a tick on his fastball from coming back from this elbow stuff. So ideally that comes back next year. But when you see Kirby and what he's able to do, and obviously what we saw in game one coming out the coming out the gate firing, striking out the side. I think that's where his ability to rise the occasion and his stuff play up, that's where it's a no-brainer for him to go, because he is the best. He does have the best stuff when he's on. You know, I look at Castillo, and I'm on Ryan's side. I thought Gilbert was going to get game one because it felt like he was going to be game one, Kirby game two. But now we're in this other scenario where he went game three with Gilbert, and it obviously has worked out to this point because you're now in game five and you're back home. And I mean, isn't it so much better to win at home, right? We don't want to win on the road. I mean,
well,
as much as we want.
I wanted to win on the road. But
well, I know,
yeah.
I know. We were getting greedy after game three, right? And
I can't take this stress. I'm very stressed.
Well, yeah. You know, we're here to bring you back down and make you feel better about yourself, Bob. But no, I get it. I just think this is like today is gonna ideally this will be one of a few more games here throughout the playoffs where it'll go down in Mariners history where like. Remember Game 5 Friday night when something crazy happened? Like I think we're in store for a really cool environment and a special moment or two that's going to happen tonight.
I'm curious to get your take on Castillo, and I know we talked about it earlier in the week, but you know, in hindsight, everybody talks about Castillo was out there dealing, and then right there I go, was he? I mean, I get when you look at it, he goes 4 2/3, 1 hit, no runs. But he threw over 50 pitches in the first 2 innings, 4 walks. He wasn't sharp. He got sharper. He's retired, I think, like 8 or 9 in a row at one point. But
he got a nice little groove.
Did that outing give you confidence, or did it make you feel like you got away with something there?
No, I'm not saying he got away with something. The one thing I did like about Luis Castillo, he went into that outing. I don't care what inning it is. I don't care about my pitch count. I am just simply flat out not giving in. I'll give that to him. Because as that game went along, and you can get to a place where I went, 20-something pitches and 20-something pitches the first 2 innings.
Yeah, it was plus 50 pitches over 2 innings.
You can get to a place that's like, okay, now I have to adjust a little bit because this is not working. I'm not sharp. All of a sudden, I'm throwing a ton of pitches. I'm not getting swing and miss. All of a sudden, you can go for that 3rd inning, and you can go, okay, maybe I need to get strike one, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get ahead in the count. I'm not saying that's given in, but all of a sudden that's pitches middle of the plate, right? If you're not sharp. If you're sharp, you're not throwing 20 pitches the first couple. I love the fact he went back after that 3rd and 4th. He said, I don't care what inning I'm in. I am simply not going to give in to these hitters, and I'm just going to play the chase game all day. I'll give him that. He wasn't sharp, though. And that's why when everyone said, well, Dan Wilson took, went to Spire for Castillo, way different because of that. He wasn't as sharp. And by the way, I got some numbers here, and everyone talks about the 3rd time through OPS against George Kirby. If you're going to go back to that for the regular season in how you play that matchup, you're out of your mind. I could sit here all day and go back to the different scenarios in those games when he was facing his 3rd time through. I don't want to get into that. But no, Luis Castillo, I think and again, if he's sitting in that bullpen and he's an option, another guy, just go out and just empty the tank, dude. Go that running fastball at the top of the strike zone, have at it.
What did you think of his outing? Did you go, man, he was dealing, or did you feel like he showed that moxie? He was grinding his way through what was fairly tough.
I'm glad you're giving me a chance to speak on this because I don't think that was a good outing. I think he got lucky. I think it was like if you put that outing 10 times in a row, there's very few chance you're going to come out of there with no runs.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, and I'll say this now, I actually hope I don't see Castillo tonight. I don't want him out of the bullpen. Like, I don't think that he's going to be the guy that's going to give you the most value in a situation. And if he's coming in, I feel like he's coming in because the Mariners are losing, right? Like, I don't think he's going to come in and get the job done. I would way rather see Logan Gilbert come out of the bullpen than Castillo in terms of, like, how the starters rank. So I would prefer to save Castillo in an emergency situation or just say, hey, you're getting game 1 in the ALCS. That makes sense right now. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Wu. But to me, that outing was like just screamed luck. Like, you just got lucky, man.
You know what's funny? He had an outing. It's a great point, man, because he had an outing early on in the year where guys were just missing pitches. And it was like, oh, man, he's dealing. It's like, he was hanging some meatballs up there and just guys missing. You could see the frustration right after it. Maybe they're off balance a little bit, but I'm with you too, Charlie, in that situation, man. If you're seeing Luis Castillo in this game, look, you got a 3.5 ERA all year. He was great. Didn't miss a start. Don't get me wrong. You're seeing him in this situation, the way they've got this thing mapped out, and they've had mapped out for 2 days. it's not a good spot for the Mariners to be.
Quickly before the break, of the 3 starters that are available, Castillo, Logan, Miller, in the bullpen tonight, what order would you go to in there? And I know it depends on the score and the situation of the game, but just confidence-wise, like, all right, I need somebody to limit the damage or hold the lead. Here's my first guy out. Logan, then would you go Miller before Castillo?
Matt Brash.
So Logan's the only starter you trust out of the bullpen.
I'd go Logan, and I'd throw a Bryce Miller, 4 seams at the top of the strike zone. What I didn't like about his last outing, he got away from that, man. Like, stop doing that. Even when he was, like, injured early on in the year, pitched against the Reds, he is at the top of the strike zone. Next outing, he comes out and he's like, split, slider, slurve. Like, no. Just live up there, dude.
Well, but is that him or is that Cal? Because I don't see him shaking Cal off.
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. But, Logan, and then that's it.
Yeah, Logan Miller.
I'm being real here.
For sure. Yeah.
Logan Miller, Castillo.
I'm with you.
I think that's the logical play, and I just see Logan being kind of a beast out of the bullpen in today's event, right? Like, if he had to pitch 4, 5, 6 for whatever reason, and Spire had to come in and get the job done in the 3rd inning, I absolutely think that Gilbert has the ability to kind of step up and be that force out of the bullpen when they need him.
All right, it's Fan Friday is powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. We are live at Victory Hall. We're going to come back. We're getting closer to first pitch. We're going to drop our final predictions for Game 5. That is coming your way next on the Mariners Pennant Push, right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Wednesday marked 30 years since the greatest moment in Mariners franchise history.
Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit.
That was a Game 5, just like the one coming up this afternoon at T-Mobile. Don't miss the next great Mariners moment, the one we'll be talking about 30 years from now. Where will you be listening for the next?
And the fans are going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
First pitch today at 5:08.
Dave Wyman here, and after 20 years of living in our home, our window seals started breaking. That's when I called Harley Exteriors. They're huge fans of our teams and regular listeners at the station, but what really sold me was their Olympic Series windows, built right here in Washington, designed for Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. They're beautiful windows that last up to 60 years, and they'll help with noise, too. Harley Exteriors knows you've been spending a ton on playoff tickets, so they have a special deal for Seattle sports listeners. No interest and no payments for an entire year. Also, buy one window and get the second one 40% off. And take another $200 off your entire project. They're the friendliest team and so easy to work with. You call the number and the person on the other line asks, "How can I make you smile today?" Just give them a ring and tell them you heard our ad. Call 833-HARLEY. That's 833-HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Do you need a new roof? Then visit 3treeroofing.com to get $500 off your roofing project by scheduling a free estimate. 3Tree Roofing's certified team builds a custom plan for your home using top-tier materials with industry-leading warranties. All of their install crews are factory certified to ensure that your roof can handle any weather Seattle can throw our way. Don't wait until leaks turn into expensive damage this rainy season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today and secure your $500 discount. 3Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Ooh, that face. Quantum fiber internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Hey, Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. from the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of the video calls, back to back video calls.
Quantum fiber internet blowing the soxies of all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Your home for baseball's postseason and your American League West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
A little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is Mariners Pennant Push, presented by Cheetos.
It is the Mariners Pennant Push, live from Victory Hall. It is Bob Stelton, Charlie Furbush, and Ryan Rowland-Smith with you, coming to you live as we get set and ready for the Mariners pregame show coming up at 4 p.m. We are just over an hour away from first pitch. Oh, I'm getting nervous.
No, me too.
I'm not getting. I've been nervous, but it's building. It's building. I'm getting tense now. Just looking at overall, well, how do you see that? I'll go, Charlie. We'll start with you. How do you see this game playing out? Give me your sense. I know you think Skubal's overhyped. He's just a dude. And to your point, he kind of has been. I mean, he's been good. Again, they haven't lit him up. It's not they haven't gone out there and bashed him out of the game, but they've won every time they faced him this year.
I'm just trying to tell all sides of the story here, right? So when you look around, you see all the national media. Everyone, I feel like, is just giving Skubal the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, he's the best left-handed pitcher. He's going to go out and get it done.
3 times.
You can't be like, well, I think you can. I think the Mariners will absolutely get it done today. And it may end up coming down to a big at-bat in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning. I wouldn't be surprised. And if I have to pick a guy that I think is going to come through in the clutch and carry this team to the ALCS, it is Cal Big Dumper Raleigh.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So we saw 2 close games. First 2 games, both 3-2. One of them extra innings. Second 2, much more lopsided. One in favor of the Mariners, the other in favor of the Tigers. Close game, or is it going to be?
It's going to be a close game. Yeah, it feels like a really close game in the end, and that's where I think it's going to be a big at bat. Either maybe early in the game, but I think it's going to be a big scenario where you go, oh, that's it. That's why they won. They won the game on that scenario.
Ryan, what do you think? How do you see it playing out?
I feel like, again, I'm trying to be positive here, but I feel like Tarek Skubal's going to throw a lot of pitches early. He's going to be out of the game much earlier than everyone thinks, because everyone's like, well, Tarek Skubal's pitching. Well, he's not going 9, straight up. You're going to have to match up. My guy late in the game, this is my big prediction. They're going to try and match up against Josh Naylor. He's going to have one of those at-bats where he's just spitting on that one pitch, and he's just going to have that presence about him. And it's going to be this little cement mixer, base hit into right field. Someone scores. Munoz goes 2 1/3. Shuts his puppy down.
2 1/3.
Yes.
Ooh,
that's what we're going to see.
2 1/3.
Are you more nervous now?
They're bringing him in the 7th, and you're going to be like, oh my God, can he go this long? He's going to do it.
I worry about everybody. I worry about him. I mean, he's been great. He had back-to-back starts in the first 2 games. He went 2 innings, went 1 inning the next game. End of the season, there was a lot of traffic with him. He was getting himself out of trouble, but he was kind of putting himself into trouble. So I'm worried about. I'm reflecting on everything.
The only thing you got to worry about Munoz is the first 5 pitches. If he's landing that slider in the strike zone, he's all good. And when you're talking 2nd inning, 3rd inning, he's just, the more he throws, the better he's going to get. But he's going to do some heavy lifting. I saw him coming in from the parking lot today. How you feeling, man? He goes, oh yeah, obviously a little bit nervous, but I'm excited. He goes, I feel fresh. It's been a couple of days. I'm like, oh. And I was thinking about, he's like, yeah, because you're going to come out in the 7th, buddy. You're going to be asked to just take us to the promised land.
He gave you that confident vibe.
He did. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, saying hi to everyone, high fiving. Had the cat? No, I'm kidding.
Matilda?
Yeah, Matilda. Yeah.
How easy is it to wash away what happened in the last game? It's I think it's harder for us as fans. I'll speak for the fans, but as players, are you just so accustomed to it? You just drill it. I mean, 162 nights a year, you're going to have duds. You're going to have losses where you're going, how the hell did that happen? But you've got no choice but to flush it and move on to the next. How tough is it in a setting like this, the playoffs, where you feel like we were up 3-0 in the 5th. We had that game and we fell apart. Is that lingering at all?
I don't think so. Not with an off day coming back here. Game 5. You're more so in the driver's seat because they won that game 3. You win that game 3, you're a little bit more in the driver's seat because you know what? You're going to beat us. You're going to beat us back here. And so, man, a lot is riding heavily on Tarek Skubal. I just feel like AJ Hinch is going to get to a point early on. He's going to throw a boatload of pitches. Feels like he's going to get that itch where he has to match up, and you're just going to overexpose that bullpen like they did game 2? Mm-hmm. And game 3, and they're going to be fine. But you got Cal. Cal's going to do something big, sure. But Josh Naylor, I'm telling you, he's going to have that at bat.
What do you think?
Say again.
As far as just flushing the last game, as far as any lingering impact, I think
clearly have flushed it. Yeah.
You forgot about it as soon as it happened. But I think we as fans hang on to it.
Yeah.
As a player.
Yeah, I mean, you're always in the mindset moving forward, and if you are on this team right now and you're thinking, what I could have done in game 4, then you're probably not playing. You're not playing, you're not doing you're not in the right mindset. So, and I think that's the beauty is you have a bunch of people on staff that have been there. Dan's been in the playoffs, Egger's been in the playoffs, all these guys that were there in 22. You have a bunch of experiences that you can rely on and say, you know what, we've been there, we know what it takes to get it done, and we continue to show that we have the clutch gene as a team. And I see the Mariners coming up big today with a big win.
Well, I'm going to tell you this story. No, I'm kidding. I'm looking at the clock. Listen, you don't want to be bringing up game 4 in November. You know why? Because if you're bringing up game 4 in November, that's not good because something's happened in this game 5. It's all about game 5 right now. Get it done.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys. I think they get it done. I don't know how. I don't know if Skubal gets lit up. I don't care how. I don't care who. Leo Rivas can come off the bench and be the hero. I do not care. I hope Mitch Garver.
Rivas.
I don't care.
Let's go.
Win the game.
Yes.
Win the game.
Bunt.
Game
Jake
5.
Taylor.
Man, this is
Major League.
We're here.
Luke Rayleigh homer. Yeah,
we are a game away from the ALCS. You got the Mariners pregame show coming your way next. Our thanks to Ryan Rowland-Smith, Charlie Furbush, Jon Morosi. Have a great weekend, everybody. A great night. Go Mariners. Hopefully we're talking on Monday, ALCS.
Let's do it.
Today, it all comes down to one win or go home showdown at T-Mobile Park.
Listen to the roar of the crowd again. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out.
I would say we believe in each other and we're ready to fight.
It's a win or go home game 5 against the Tigers at T-Mobile this afternoon. First pitch at 5:08. And there's only one place you can hear the American League West champion Mariners in the playoffs on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here. You can book now for an unforgettable experience. Let's talk about Hawks Peak. It is the place to be for game days this football season. With over 66 TVs, indoor-outdoor concept, the deck is covered and it's heated as well. And the food